This is The Rumor Report with Angela Yee on The Breakfast Club.
So listen up.
So for the Hollywood Reporter, Billy Porter has decided to tell some very important parts of his story. He said that he is HIV positive. He also said the diagnosis came at one of his lowest points. He said it was 2007, the worst year of his life, and he was on the precipice of obscurity for about a decade or so. He said, by February, I had been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. By March, I signed bankruptcy papers, and by June, I was diagnosed HIV positive. Now, here's what he had to say about going to trauma therapy.
I started trauma therapy to begin the process of healing, as opposed to how I had been navigating through the world up until that time. You know, my trauma served me, my story served me in terms of forward motion for a very long time.
All right, he goes on to talk about how the diagnosis came about even. He said he had a pimple on his butt, and it got larger and larger and harder, and then it started to hurt. And one day he was like, I got to get this taken care of. So he said at the front desk, the queen at the front desk asked him, you want an HIV test? They only $10. And he said, yeah, it's time. And he was getting tested every 6 months, and he went in, got his pimple drained, and then he got tested. The doctor came back and told him he was positive.
So that's an actual symptom of HIV, like when you get a cyst?
No, he said it was just a fluke that he had that, and then he was in there. They asked him, do you want to get a test just because you're here? You're here. You might as well get tested.
You had to clear that up because you made it seem like a pimple on the butt is a way that people could.
Well,
might know that
I
they have
quoted
HIV.
exactly what he said.
Okay.
Happened. So
I've gotten those often. I was like, huh?
okay.
What, pimples on your butt?
You get pimples on your butt a lot?
I do.
That's weird.
I've had a cyst
Maybe you
back
need to make sure that you scrub and exfoliate your butt so
Really?
that it doesn't get clogged up. Just like you exfoliate your face.
Yeah, you don't wash
Oh,
your
yeah,
butt
because
well
it's like
enough.
hair bumps. So, yeah.
And you want to get rid of that dead layer of skin so it can come out.
Exfoliate your butt.
Yeah, you don't use exfoliant on your
I
whole
do
body?
on my face. No, just on my face. I got
You get a
face
nice
scrub.
scrub. They have some good ones from Shea Moisture.
Really?
Has a nice scrub. Yeah, you should scrub your whole body.
Yeah, try that, bro.
Do that for the cheeks. Exfoliate the cheeks.
Yeah. All right. Now, he did let everybody around him know that he was HIV positive, but he couldn't bring himself to share it publicly. And he also was afraid to tell his mom at first.
The manifestation of the shame was not being able to tell my mother. But my mother, having been through so much already, there was already so much of it in her life that she had to deal with because of my queerness, that I just didn't want her to have to live through their I told you so of it all. You know, I had made a pact with myself that I would let her die before I told her.
Man, I mean, that has to be a tough one to reveal to the world. Like, you know how many people probably in, entertainment and Hollywood who are HIV positive but don't say anything? Like, just think about in our lifetimes, I can only think of 3 people that went public, right? So I'm sure it's some others, but man, it's a lot of people who be keeping that to themselves. So for Billy to live his truth in that way, that had to be difficult.
Right. And like you said, he did tell a lot of the people around him. So everybody around him knew, but he just never publicly told everyone. And here's what happened when he had his conversation with his mom.
I haven't seen her in a while. Let me just call and talk to her. Not even 2 minutes in the conversation, she was like, what's wrong? Mother always knows. And I said, nothing. And she's like, son, please tell me what's wrong. So I ripped the Band-Aid off and I just told her. And she said, I love you. I've always loved you. That will never change.
Damn.
Wow.
And now he's saying it's time to grow up and move on because shame is destructive, and if not dealt with, it can destroy everything in its path. And he also talked about the advancements in medicine that have dramatically increased the quality of life for people with HIV.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't know the world that, but I mean, in his position, if he wants to be an example, the others living with HIV, I understand. And just living your truth is freeing, right?
Yeah, and I commend him for that, man. I remember doing a panel with about all the advancements they've made with HIV medicines and being on a panel with people who are HIV positive that have very productive lives for decades. So you can live with HIV and live a fruitful life. And so I do commend him for coming out and being able to say that. You know, we do HIV testing every year at the Juice Bar. And so it's always interesting to me because I get tested every year too when everyone comes in and does it. And there have been people who have tested positive for HIV when they came in to do their test. But it is important
On
that
the
you
spot?
know. Yeah.
See, I wouldn't want. I don't want to know that news on the spot. Not there.
Well, no one they don't tell me who it is or
Oh,
anything.
got
It's
you,
private.
got
They
you.
have counselors on hand
Got you.
and everything so that they can go ahead and start you in the process of making sure that you're, eating what you're supposed to eat, making sure that you're taking the medicine, all of those things. It's important to know so you can have a healthy life.
And when you see people like Billy Porter, it like removes the stigma of whatever you think, living with
Same
HIV
thing with
looks
Magic
like.
Johnson as well.
Oh,
Same thing with
absolutely.
Magic. And I'm always curious to Magic Johnson has HIV, is no longer detected in the system. Nobody ever says how.
Is that true? I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, he said it's no longer detected in the system. He didn't say he
Isn't
didn't
it-
have it. He said it's not detected in his body.
All the different cocktails of medication that you can take. Yeah, you can go on and be fine. So, all right. Well, that is your rumor report.
All right. Now, Charlamagne, who are you giving that donkey to?
We need 90% of the GOP who voted against this independent commission to investigate the coup on January 6th to come to the front of the congregation. We'd like to have a word with them, please.
All right. We'll get into that next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.